Hey, good evening. Let's talk Facebook, Periscope, and we bring to you the Poetry Corner. By King Atterbury and guests, and we have a returning guest this week. And it's amazing that it's episode 4 for Poetry Corner already. Time is definitely flying. Before we know it, we'll be at episode 100, God willing. So,
Hmm.
uh, we have Julia and King Atterbury. What's up, Julia?
Nothing much. Just chilling. Thank you so much for having me back again. Pleasure to
Oh,
be here.
absolutely. You're a
Yeah.
pleasure for the show. We need like I said sometimes before with the poetry. Even though you may not like what you, or you may be a harder critique on yourself, you never know how your words can inspire someone else to just be the spark for their day. Definitely in times like this with unemployment the highest it's ever been with the COVID, so forth and so on. King, what's going on?
I'm chilling, man. I'm just happy to be here once again. Once again, it's on. As I said before, have a few things written in store for tonight. So, let's get it on.
We have week 4, man.
I know, man. We here. I mean, it's gonna be some more exciting things coming about in the next few weeks. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
yeah, I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve with some features.
And even though the COVID is going on right now, them beaches and them barbecues is going on. So,
Yeah.
everybody's saying they're practicing social distancing, being cautious, but at the end of the day, everybody is trying to get some of this vitamin D.
Yes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm saying even the king. I go out there by the bay over where the beach is at. I
Yeah,
don't go on the beach like that, but I be right there. Enough the sun be shining so bright here in Cape May, North Cape May, that I can just stand right at the tip before I even go down to the sand and just chill and get all that sun.
yeah.
I can see the bay right there.
So, who's batting first today? Who's going up first today?
King Atterbury.
Yeah, I got the contacts in the night cause I got the readers on.
Okay.
Okay, I have one right here. It's called All I Know. You know, as I walk this earth, thinking to myself, how did I reach the height of my life? I close my eyes and gather my thoughts and look into a mirror and say, sheesh, you are who you are, and nobody can identify what you have become or what you have. Accomplishing and righting your wrongs and remaining strong during the time it took for you to get where you have gotten. For sure, one thing is friends which you have gained that are supportive, friends that you have that are open the window to their soul for you to take a look into. The world is filled with ups and downs. Sometimes we beat the odds, sometimes we don't. But when you give a few drops of love to the ones that have unconditional love for you, it may be a spouse or it may be a friend or associate. You get what you receive and hopefully give back through the same measures. Hatred is so harsh to muster in a frame of mental stability. You either sample the hate that's given on a plate of evil awareness, or you grab a drink of prosperity, enjoy, and feel refreshed. Bless that moment. You feel so good and grasp the wind and rejoice. It was once told to me by my inner self, never become a glory hog. If someone has good come about them, salute their inner and outer findings. But for those that possess the intent to selfishly demean others' power source that carry them on the wing of a butterfly, let them drift in a deep abyss and ask God to forgive them and still love them and show them the world. We can always learn from the mistakes of others and see a brighter day whenever it's displayed on a mantle of caring showcase. Love on one another as a brother and sister in the eyes of God, whether it be blood related kin, close knit friend, or enemy. Look at all degrees of boredom. Look at all degrees of happiness. Wake up, and live your life.
Mm.
King.
What's the
Nice.
history? What's the history behind that one?
It's just life. You know what I'm saying? Life experiences, the things you see around the world. The world is damaged right now. It's
Hmm.
damaged. There's so many people competing against each other instead of trying to lend your brethren or sister a helping hand with anything. have an ear, you know what I mean, to listen. Don't just talk to somebody, speak to someone. When you're speaking to someone, the other person is listening.
Mm.
That's how you have conversation. You speak with one another. Instead of when you talking to somebody, you just talking. You ain't trying to hear nothing they saying. It is what it is. Okay. And then when you respond, when the other person respond, they get the brush off. You know what I mean? And it happens when I've seen it. That's why I try to when I'm speaking to somebody and I'm conversating, I try not to say, well, we're talking. Because when we're speaking to each other, one another, we're conversating.
Mm.
You know, so I try to differentiate that you're talking to somebody and speaking to somebody. You know what I mean? I try to not even say talking. You're speaking. You know.
Yeah, like we saying, you know, we building.
Yeah, we building in the cipher. You know what I mean? That's where we at. So,
So how long ago you wrote that?
tell you the truth, I dug up in my archives. I was looking through some stuff and I came across that and I was like, oh, when did I write that? I mean, this had to be some ways back.
Okay.
When I was, journeying, like moving along in life, probably hanging with the wrong crowd. It could have been, let me see, what's this, 2020? That could have been written a good 2008.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a while ago.
I would say a good 2008. Because I could tell myself in the energy, of it. That's when I broke out from hanging with certain individuals and stuff.
So Julia, you made a guest appearance one time.
Yes.
What was that, episode 1?
Yes. Very first episode.
1. You see? You was the first guest, and now you came back for episode 4. Like I said before, we're glad you could join us. So you got something for us this time, because you didn't give us much. You said you hadn't written anything down, and we talked about the book, and you might need to elaborate your book a little bit more in our group. I mean, I noticed that the group sometimes takes on a life of its own, and I think that when we discuss relationships a lot of time in the group, sometimes we as people don't do enough self-reflection, or realize that you're getting bad individuals because you keep picking them number one. Now, whether they're bad or not, and they need to get themselves together, that's a whole different story. But obviously, these are the people that we pick. So I think that if you one day just put your book in there and explain your book and explain how you did the research on your book, and you didn't just come off the top of your head and so forth and so on. Because a lot of times people don't know that you know most people's maturation process, they are able to self-reflect and be like, you know what? Looking back at it, I was a jerk 15 years ago. These situations I grew from, realized my mistake. So, but that's a different story for a different day. So,
I'd be happy to do that. I actually have been kind of delving into doing little IG live casts on Sundays, and not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, I talked about that exactly, like how we talk about what we bring into the table. And a lot of times people think that that's economic, but we bring a whole lot of other things to the table in terms of our family history, our relationship history, trauma, some pain. And so we have to be able to resolve those things.
Even that word that rhyme with trauma.
Drama. Drama.
Sure,
and so the books will really help both men and women to self-reflect in a fun way and in a safe way, but and also in a healthy way, so that they can get everything that they want out of their relationship. So I will post it in there.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you two questions in reference to that before we move on? And I know that I didn't tell you I was gonna ask you this stuff, but it's good once you start conversing. Things come up. Do you? I'm gonna ask you. This is two questions. One is in reference to us today. We know we're all like in the same age bracket. Do you think that our age group today is more focused on trying to figure it out more so than our elders when they were our age? Do you think that they what I mean, like, I never heard these talks, and I know that we didn't wasn't in grown folks conversations back then, but it in my parents, like my grandparents parents, they didn't have conversations where they had to figure it out. Like, always had conversations like men do this, women do this, so forth and so on. Do you think that our age is at the age of just trying to figure it out? Like, do you think it's a difference?
I do think it's a difference. I think, looking at my grand, and I love this question. It's a really good question. I think the example relationship that I had with my grandmother and my grandfather. And in their relationship, my grandmother had more money than my grandfather, but they also have very traditional ideas about roles. So there were things that my grandmother was supposed to do on the basis that she was a woman. And then there were things that my grandfather was expected to do in his role as a man and head of the household. And they were clear on that, and there really wasn't much argument around that. Like, once they agreed on who was doing what, they followed through. And of course, they built their relationship as they went, but they maintained their roles until they both passed away. And I think today, one of the challenges that we have is that there is no really clear definition of roles, and because everybody's basically able to do everything. And then you also have a lot of people talking about what they ain't gonna do, right? So so it's really, I think, more so now, since they are not really roles defined, like for men or for women. And a lot of people think that there are, but they really aren't. Not to the individual. Since the roles are not defined, I think people have to work in a different direction and define those roles for each other and come to agreement on that for each other. And it's relationships had like expectations in the past, I think, but nowadays you kind of like are expected to make it what works for you. That's just my perspective on it.
Okay. And excuse me. And the second question was, and it's kind of is definitely a part B to the first part of the question. Do you think that we as Black people focus more on the fixed manage and control of relationships more than other races? Because you very rarely see, we all have friends of other races, and you very rarely see them on social media saying the figure it out question. You very rarely see that, and you only really see it amongst us.
So I have a deep answer to that. I hope I have enough time.
I mean, we're good.
These are some of the things that I see, right? In other races, there tends to be more of that expectation for defined roles. For example, if you look in the Hispanic community, it does not seem that it changes over time what the expectation is for women and what the expectation is for men. No matter what group in Latin culture you're looking at, those roles are pretty much defined, I think, when you're talking about like a relationship, like not dating. And so, and they are able to pass that culture down through their family. I think the reason why we have a more difficult time and we're trying to figure it out is because we really don't have a culture around relationships to pass down.
Okay.
So that piece about, you know, what are our defined roles? There's no definition in the roles. I mean, and to me, a lot of it has to do with like economics. So over the last maybe, and I think it started in the 70s, the 60s and the 70s with the welfare system, where Black women were able to guarantee income in their homes if they did not have a man in the house.
Okay.
And that created, I think, an independence for Black women, where they started not just receiving that welfare or that government assistance, but like also working and earning. And at the same time, our Black men, not at the same degree of Black women, were able to have that same earning power. And so what you had, I think, is like a reversal of head of household. And so now you have women who are making money that they never knew they could have access to, however they decide to make that money. And what comes along with that, I've seen, is a lack of femininity. There's a very high level of aggression and assertion and expectation about what a man is supposed to do. And if that man doesn't make more than she does, then he has nothing to say to her. And I think at the same time, like, Black men are exposed to so much on a daily basis. And like the way that I think they numb whatever they go through is either drugs, alcohol, or sex. So you take in all of that, like, how are you going to be in a relationship together when the woman feels like she's the head and the man is just trying to feel good?
Okay. That's good. I mean, for the audience clarity, for anybody that may be watching, explain the two books that you wrote. Just because I want them to understand why I asked you the question.
Okay. So the first book that I've written is called Crown Rules: One Woman's Journey to the Throne. And it's a self-empowerment book for women and young adult women, but men can also gain knowledge from it as well. And the purpose of the book is to allow the reader to journey from their creation, like when they were born, the messages that were fed to them, how they develop their personality, their character, the things that they want for themselves. And then it takes them on a journey to kind of look at everything that has been instilled in them and then decide what doesn't serve them anymore, how to get rid of that, and then how to add new ideas, thoughts, visions, and expectations for yourself. And it's a journey in the book. And the second book is called Crown Rules 2, King: How Black Men Love. And that book is comprised of 10 interviews with 10 Black men between the ages of around 35 to 86 years old, asking them to share with us what their perspective on love is. Like, how did they know when they were in love? How do they express love? What kind of love do they need? And as you're reading through each of the gentleman's answers, you number one see that the experience of love is different for everybody, right? So it doesn't make sense to come out of a relationship and try to bring the same things that you were doing in that relationship to a new relationship, because this person might need something different, right? And then the second thing that it exposes, which I really wanted to do, was to let everybody know that Black men do love. Black men do love. I don't think that as women, we get to hear enough expression, of adoration and appreciation and sexual attraction and pleasure and what you all need. And I think some of that in the book shares it so that we can start the conversation with each other.
Okay. Great. I didn't mean to take you off of the having your mind on the poetry, but I wanted to ask you those two questions because you did have to do some research and you did do these
That's
books, and
fine.
I'm quite sure you learned a lot, you gained a lot. I mean, I'm quite sure the experience for both books was a lot for you as an
Amazing.
individual and as a writer. But
Yes.
what do you have for us this week?
Okay, so I have two. I have two poems to read. I think I'm gonna read the first one first. um, and it has something to do with what's been going on these days.
Mhm.
Lately these days. So the title of it is Untangled. I gambled, dangled, strangled, got entangled. Attraction, deflection, satisfaction, affection. Strangled, I dangled, entangled, I gambled. Commit, forsake, admit, mistake. I gambled, entangled, dangled, strangled. First a minute, then an hour, one time a day, and now gone away. Strangled, dangled, entangled, I gambled. The end, no friend. Begin again, untangled. That's it.
Woo! Woo! It might have been some strangling going on up in there. It's real steamy.
Yeah.
Look, actually, that was a very good poem. That you,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe you hit all the highs and lows of um the entanglement, and
Indeed.
you might even have to send that or put that on Instagram and let her find out how you wrote it and how you looked at it because in spite of what everybody else think, you know there is a whole bunch of feelings involved in here, and human beings and people probably got hurt in the process, and
Yes.
you know even though the entanglement word has taken on a new definition in black culture, uh, but it's very interesting, and hopefully everybody everybody was able to get some type of closure.
Yes.
And I
Indeed.
know that the individual, he decided to make some music about it. Maybe that's his way of dealing with the healing.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, eventually, everybody gets closure out of that situation. But that was a
Thank
very
you.
nice poem, though.
Yeah, that
That's
was that
Thank
was
you.
definitely dope. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
It was,
hey King, she went to her bag, man.
yeah, she definitely
I
did.
was
She already
there
know.
today.
You know what? When she first said she was going to take a poem about everything that's going on, that
No
was the
idea.
least of my thoughts right there.
I didn't think that neither. I was
I
thinking
mean,
more like the world events.
yeah, I think COVID, John Lewis, CT Vivian, one of them guys was, I was thinking, okay, maybe she might go there, but she went straight to entanglement.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that one.
No,
Like,
you really, because you in the poem, you like I said, you described the highs and the lows, and you know, entangled the end. Whew, that was steamy. I think it might have just got hotter in my house
yeah,
with that one. Like
I was
somebody,
like,
somebody, somebody in the
whoa.
chat said. Somebody in the chat said, both poems you guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
to
you,
let you know.
appreciate that.
I know what we all need to hear them, get them positive affirmations from time to time.
Hmm.
So King, she went into her bag since episode one. Man. She came prepared. She said, "You know what?" And she started off with, I'm not feeling good. You know what she did, right? She came in the show lowering expectation.
I
So then
don't
when I
feel
started talking
good.
about her books,
Yeah,
she probably was like, "Oh, he went there on me," and then she coming with this entanglement poem from the rip. Like,
definitely. She definitely came out the window with that one.
I
The
can,
more
I can, I can imagine when you really having a bad day. Like, catch you on your bad day. King, she probably call you like, you be like, yo, you just wrote a book just now, like. But we appreciate you. My audience
Thank you.
appreciates you. I appreciate you. Your
Yeah, that
the
was fly,
entangled,
Drew. Word up.
entangled. Whew, that was
That
creative.
Thank you.
that that
That was
might give me an incentive.
entangled, strangled, and then look, and then killed us. The end.
No resurrection.
Yeah, just nothing. Like she was going through all that rumbling and tumbling. It was just the end. But King,
Untangled.
yeah, it was untangled. It was untangled finally, right?
Yeah,
So King, I know you got some more for us.
yeah, definitely.
I'm,
This one is called Out the Window. So a lot of times
okay.
things are out the window. Days begin in the morning after the shower and my clothes on. Moving right along, get in my car and play songs. Got a place that I go when I clear my mental thoughts. Yesterday I saw more troubled souls than before. So my prayers became enhanced and meditations deeper. As I awake, open my consciousness to tunes by singing speakers. Vibes be alive as I relax to what I'm hearing. Return to my vehicle and drive away steering. Place my energy inside a destination where I'm headed to. Nice eatery where I lunch and get a mouthful. Do a little reading, drink coffee as my beverage. They know me by 3 letters spelled out to measure. JWA, or the writer King Atterbury. I keep some places private because it's my sanctuary. Love to write on my life, possibilities and honesty. While those who make fun, I know others are fond of me. King.
So,
He,
so
he went to, Julia. He went to the back of the notebook on you just now.
I know.
That one wasn't planned. He just said, "Oh, oh, see, iron sharpens iron." I'm telling you. Once you hear somebody, you be like, "Yo, let me get my bag." You know, it's
You
like,
can
hey, Julia, it's like us guys say. It's like spitting bars, like going bar for bar.
I
You
felt
know,
like we were in a cipher and I just got kicked out.
no,
No, no.
no, you were still entangled. That's what it
Yeah.
was. So you, you good. Like until you untangle yourself,
Yeah.
that's when you get kicked out the cipher.
I have
Oh,
I have another one also, which deal with the present time.
So hold on one second. Who you said might be joining us in a little bit?
Terry and I believe Jazzy Sky, but I know
Oh,
she wasn't
we
feeling
might have
well.
two more people.
Maybe,
Oh,
but
okay,
we'll see,
okay,
or
okay.
even Ray. Ray might show up. So we'll proceed with the proceedings.
Yeah. So you had another one that was dealing with what's going on as well.
Yeah, it's called Never That. If the virus is corona, change your beer to Budweiser. Death toll is higher. Let's expose these true liars. If it's man-made, then create a secret serum called Cascade. Clean it up, fade it away, and juice your body. Upgrade. Vitamins and veggies hold life steady with water. Ignore the bot callers and speak on border corners. Fiasco or trouble that arrived and still survived. If the cough is hard and dry, then the wheezing gonna fly. Pandemic is epic. Peace and blessings to all the medics. Heard about the chips being embedded. Somewhere, yes, I read it. Place a build on your lungs. Walk and talk on the rag. The mind, body, and soul isn't dead. Leave alone what's being said. Peace.
I like that.
nice.
That might get banned though. I'm telling you, man. You start talking about Corona conspiracies and all that stuff. They might ban that on some outlets, but I like that. And at the end of the day, like you gotta, as they say, you gotta be able to speak your word. You gotta be able to to speak that energy that you got going on around you and be
I'm
able
not
to.
afraid to lay it out.
Yeah, because even the day you was telling us about the story with the mask, right? The mask thing is a very interesting topic that's going on. I see a lot of people, and it has become so political. You see a lot of people say, "Just wear a daggone mask," and why you ain't got no mask on, and you don't know why that person can't wear a mask. Like it's a very interesting thing, you know.
I
I
believe
just
in short term movement of having the mask on. I mean, if you're in a secluded area and you're not around people and you're in a COVID free environment, okay, having a mask on, I understand, but there should be limitations on that. You know, over wearing the mask and whatnot, you're gonna wind up with respiratory issues. And do they really care that you're gonna wind up with that? Who knows? But that's for you to be mindful and thoughtful of who you looking at and who you checking and you explaining your situation to. You know, but I can only speak my truth and what I see and how I am. But I argue that all the time when I'm at work, you know, about breathing. So I go on multiple breaks all night because it is. And then you know what the odd thing is, when you have the people that you're taking care of, you know, I'm working healthcare. So they like, are you okay? You heaving. I'm like, I say, yeah, I'm fine. And then when I get out the thing, I take it off. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo,
you know,
what you want me to kill myself?
you
You know
you
what I
know
mean?
what
Like,
you know what's funny, right? Is that you know I'm asthmatic, right? And I wear my mask when I go in public places.
right.
But the funniest thing is that I remember a time when you went in public places and it used to be real cold. Now with this virus, you go in the store, you can go in the big. I went in Walmart earlier, and it's usually cold. It's not cold ever since the virus, and I'm like, everybody got masks when they used to, you know, everybody used to always be like, cold kills germs, and they told us the heat will
Right.
eventually kill COVID.
Right.
We're in a heat wave right now, and I, you know, but
Need some
I
AC.
just I just hope that everybody just continue just trying to be as
Yeah.
precautious as possible and
It's about being safe.
you know
You
do
know,
what they got to do. Hand sanitizer is back. You can find it in stores. So
wash hands, soap and water.
yeah, yeah. So Julia, I know you said before that you had two.
Yep.
You got three or four, right?
Nope.
She
Just
might
this
bust a
next one.
freestyle out.
Just this next one. And then I'm done. This is my favorite.
You done or you finished?
I'm finished and I'm done.
Uh,
Dark, wide, soft, full, warm. Syrups and juices, no flakes and no crumbs. Ever humming on a beatbox, he don't need no drums. Calling up flowers, they command and they obey. He quiets the moon to sleep and awakens the sun each new day. Dark, wide, soft, full, warm. Singing songs of praise to the Most High. Able to call stars down from the night sky. Guiding our seed to fill the need. Correcting only for wisdom. Never imprisoned. Multifaceted like prisons. Always kicking that ism. Dark, wide, soft, full, warm. Speaking truth unto the nations, words that last through generations, capable of wrath and obligation. My summer night, he's my sweet sedation. Dark, wide, soft, full, warm. My lover's lips, in them lives the universe.
Cause she on her A game today.
no, right?
She
She
is
like,
on her
yo,
A
she like
game.
knocking it out the park.
Look, she going from high to low, taking you on a journey, painting a picture.
Mhm. Like a canvas. I mean, like,
Listen. You know what she said? She said, you know what? When I come back on there, I'm gonna show them something.
I have
I'm
to
mhm.
have something.
gonna show them. But I really like both poems that you
Yeah,
said.
that was fly. I mean,
Thank
definitely
you.
want to definitely be rocking
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But,
You should put that in the group and make sure you put that copyright information.
oh
I
yeah,
will.
You
I
know,
will.
I think that
if you write it, people will bite it.
the energy is definitely there. So what's the history with that one? You got some history behind it?
Yes, I do. I think we spend a lot of time talking about relationships and trying to figure out how to get them right or problems with them. And I think sometimes, like if you're single, what you can think about sometimes is like, oh, I wish I had somebody or whatever. But sometimes I think we need to visualize it and feel it.
Mm,
Like this poem is about my lover's lips and like paying attention to everything that he does with them. Like when you think about those things, it makes you more excited about being with someone that you care for, as opposed to thinking about all of the problems that you might have if you're together. Like think
mm.
about that love and all that sexy stuff. Like
Yeah,
relationships are fun.
their presence, their I don't know. I know a lot of women don't like when I say this word. Their scent, so to say,
Yes,
because everybody smells different. I guess
yes, they do. Pheromones, yes, they
Um,
do.
the tone of their voice. You know, the way they yell or the way they talk when they want something. Okay, I'm
Yo,
telling
look at
you.
cuz opening the
I'm
door.
telling you, boy, they gonna make another movie with y'all two in it. I'm telling you,
The lion out the cage.
telling you. Deaf poets need to hurry up and come back. We got two people right here.
And cuz I got one for you right now. I guess they gonna probably put me on the band. You know what I mean? Because it's
Uh-oh.
definitely going in. What did I tell you that one day on that episode? I'll throw anything in the air. I don't care. So what? When you hear this one, you're gonna know what I mean on that. This one is called I Will Survive. There's a difference between what we see and what we know. Learning from older folks about our own culture code. Watch the badge beasts when they opposite of peace. No longer want to greet, only beat to make us weak. This time we struggle trying to keep our strength and muscle. Keep our love for one another when we huddle and not tussle. Lives matter. Cameras capture the brutality on us. Who do you trust, not the bluff of uniformed after us? Keeping our mouths shut, it's not a win-win situation. Nowadays we facing illegal accusations by those hate the color of my skin or the confidence of my dignity. My pride will stay alive even if my spirit cry and die. King.
Yes.
Mm, mm. I got one called the Nick Cannon. Now let me stop.
Next one gonna be I do what I do.
What do you think about that Nick Cannon situation? That was dope.
We
Thanks.
actually, me and the young ladies that I usually do shows with, their co-host, we did a show on it, and
I missed it.
it's very fluid. I seen some more information come out yesterday. He actually just did a. He was saying that he was going to take a break, but he actually just did another Cannon's Corner or whatever he called it.
Mm-hmm.
He just did a show with a rabbi.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just think that when you say something, own it. I don't think he really said much that was really bad. It probably just needed some clarity on it. Because even like Professor Griff said, the interview they did was a year ago. That was a clip that was made that was shown 3 weeks prior to. So you got to understand that the forces that be going on when they're trying to stop what you're doing, whether it's him, whether it's Professor Griff, whether it's his alliance or his relationship with Minister Farrakhan, or I think he's needed. Nick needs to realize that success comes with a heavy price, and activism comes with an even heavier price. So if you want to be an advocate and speak up for justice, that road is a one-way road, and
Not
it's
for people
lonely.
of other races, it's not.
Yes, unfortunately, you're exactly right. But we got a lot of I know a lot of people like to say the slogan that people came out with them T-shirts. I'm not my ancestors and all this stuff. I'm of the opinion that we need to really learn from our elders, from our ancestors, and learning how to navigate and understand what's going on and how to go about things. And you may want to do something different, but it's not going to be new. It might be new to us, but it's not going to be new. So the more you learn, the more dangerous you become. The more you learn about yourself, and definitely the more you learn about society as a whole. So I just think that he's on his journey, and he's understanding the cancel culture both ways. I mean, and I think that he needs to understand that you gotta stand on your truth, because nobody wants to see somebody flip flop back and forth. I don't think that he should be canceled, but sometimes you got to realize, who's got your back. Do you want the people or do you want the bag? The
You
people
gotta
or the
go where
bag?
they pay you. And the only way that you get paid is if the people pay attention to you. So how do you choose? How do you choose? They did the same thing to Chris Rock. They did the same thing to Dave Chappelle. They did the same thing to Eddie Murphy. And they did the same thing to Kevin Hart. And Eddie Murphy was like in the 80s.
And that's something that we have to, as the culture, as we say, the culture, we have to understand that if we are going to say that these people are our voice, we got to take care of them.
Mm.
We got to, as we say, protect them at all costs. We got to take care of them, and it's a very interesting thing. And I think that like I say, when you know how when a person goes to a pool, right, and the first thing they do is dip their foot in the pool to
Yeah.
see how the water is. I think that's what happened with Nick. He dipped his foot in the pool and said, "Oh, I might want to go swimming, but I might want to let that pool cool down a little bit later. But
Mhm.
I still want to go swimming." So I think he's at a point in his journey where he wants to be. I mean, um, activism for Black people in America comes with a heavy price. You're not going to be getting the bag.
Well, that's why I said, learn from the elders, the elder folks about the culture code.
Yeah,
Do a lot
yeah.
of people know the culture code? Have you learned from the elders, or you just feel like you know everything on that? You got to know how to move around, like you said. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you might step out of bounds and messed up that bag, and you trying to figure out how you get that bag back.
Yeah.
And all these people with the bigger bags, do they got your back, or did they put the battery in your back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had you jump out the window?
Yeah. One of the things that I did, what I did when I decided to do what we're doing, is I don't mind talking about certain subjects, but one of the subjects that I never really wanted to get into was religion. And
Mm.
the reason why, one thing I know about Judaism is depending on what rabbi you talk to, you're going to get a different interpretation of history and laws. So you may talk to
That's it.
you may talk to a Hasidic that's real strict with the laws, but they may not know much about history.
Mm.
Then you may got one that's not so religious, sort of say, but they sharp when it comes to the history. They can
Mhm.
tell you the plight, the tribes, where they went, who's this. They get, and I'm not saying they are Zionists, but they can tell you who the Zionists are, and so forth and so on. So, and that goes in all religions. Even if you talk to somebody that might be Protestant, that might disagree with Catholics, so you kind of like, if unless you have a platform where you can have those discussions and be able to talk about it, you kind of don't want to talk about that stuff open,
I
and then you make a blanket statement, and then you may say statement like he got rabbis telling him all types of stuff right now.
I just, pardon me, my head is hurting, but I I just want to say this. So I study individual enrichment and achievement, but I also study relationships. And in any abusive relationship, it takes several attempts before you leave.
Mm.
And for our entertainers who are dependent on a structure outside of ourselves to earn the money that they want to earn and live the lifestyle that they have to live, it's a very, as you said, difficult balance between, wanting to step your toe in the water as opposed to wanting to go swimming. And I think a victim in a best abusive relationship tries several times because they have to figure out what could go wrong. So they can't go on the first time. They have to try several times so they can figure out what can go wrong. And I think we've had enough experience over the last 10 years that we kind of figure out what can go wrong. So if our entertainers decide that they want to pool their own money together and make sure that we have that income rolling throughout our community, then they'll be able to go. But as long as that money is there, they're not going to be able to leave.
You know what's funny is that when I had talked to one, like I said, I would talk to one of the young ladies that co-hosts the show with me. When you sit back and think about that, and you think about this. Just I'm gonna just leave this with you two, right? Dick Gregory was a comedian. That's weird to us. He wasn't a comedian to us. He was a activist to us. But
Right.
think about, to them, he left that what he used to do because he chose that activism and speaking up for his people was more important. But that's what it's going to have to take if that's where you want to go. Because at the end of the day, they are still entertainers, and they get paid to entertain. And no matter who's paying them to entertain, they're going to entertain the payer. So, I always just reflect on Dick Gregory, like, yo, this guy was not even like, people telling me he was a comedian is like funny to me because, he ain't play no games. He gave you the information, and you had a right to choose what you wanted to accept or ingest and learn how to move around.
Mm-hmm.
So, King, what's your thoughts on Nick? I mean, Julia brought it up. Well, I brought his name up, but
I already discussed enough of them. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Yeah.
you know what's funny though? It's Julia. I think a lot of the women are more fed up with the guy. Not saying the men aren't fed up. I think the men sometimes like get desensitized to it all and just be like, it is what it is. I've been dealing with it. I'm tired of it. But it's like a lot of our movements. There are a lot of strong women behind this. Like, yo, like he was getting killed on Twitter mostly by women
And I
because
think
they
it's
feel
so
like
ridiculous.
they feel like he buckled.
So ridiculous because there are probably at least 5,000 Black women who went to work today and wished that they could have said something to the person that pays them. So, yes, he's in the spotlight. Yes, he's a representation, but he also has to maintain what he wants to maintain for himself. And if nobody is coming to me telling me that I should say what I feel like saying to my employer, and I don't have another means of income, and you're certainly not paying me, I would chill on that for a minute. I think we're too hard on everybody.
we definitely have an expectation on entertainers and athletes that they shouldn't have. We put an expectation on them that should not be
Should not
there.
be there.
And Muhammad Ali started that. He, I think we don't understand that he was a one of a kind individual. Like, you know,
And he
Definitely.
suffered. He suffered. But
and Julia, that is one of the parts that I think that more people need to understand is that he was our hero, but he was the generation before us renegade. Like even Dr. King, like I really believe that needs to be explained more than how everybody wants to be surrounded with a winner. Me and King could talk about this all the time. But back then, like these guys were branded as public enemies, and I think that needs to be explained. Definitely when you're talking about history, because you got to understand that when you get on that road, it's a one-way road and it's lonely. I mean,
it's
soon,
not
soon as
easy.
you turn down that corner, then you start passing houses. It might be this house over here. You got some cousins that may abandon you. Then the family. Then the endorsements. Then the closer you get, and then you get closer to a gun, and then they try to take you up out of here. So,
Mhm.
I felt
Yeah,
that whole process.
yeah, it's a tough situation.
yeah, definitely deep.
Wow.
Yeah, because you're
Yes,
gonna lose something.
right.
You're gonna lose something.
And I don't think we should be so hard on people who try to balance that.
Yeah, yeah. So, King, you got anything else for us? Because Julia, she done got two, and she said that's all she got.
Yeah, I know. She did good though. I like them two pieces that she did. That was
Thank
fly,
you.
funky
Thank you.
fresh. Word up. Yeah, I have this. I have another one. This one is called "Space It Out." At the end of the universe, still searching for a starburst. This version of Earth hurt teleport me through the dirt. Let me exist whether it's hotter than islands in the Caribbean, where all eyes are seeing, believing what we are achieving. On a parallel planet where another me is formed. Mentally, I'm far gone. That future me has been warned. Trace my past without breadcrumbs of books that I wrote. Hidden messages lined in paragraphs that is cloaked. Understand the notes. Navigate to where my mind be. Do not judge me. Respect my honesty and my loyalty. Raised by a community of people from both planes. All pics are not the same when you put them in the glass frame. Reflection of myself when I am standing on iffy grounds. Do not check the out of bounds if we live without sound. King.
Right.
Wow, y'all must was working on this stuff behind the scenes, but
Nah, this out the archive, yo.
you know, y'all must said, what, we going in today.
Energy was high today.
Yeah, it was like the
Yeah,
early morning. My energy was like on 1,000. 5:30 in the morning without coffee.
without coffee.
I ain't have coffee till later on. You know what I mean? So could have been the ginger and the tea.
Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So what's next? What's next, King? I know you told me you got another book coming out. Julia,
Yeah,
what's up? No books? No, you ain't doing no book signing, no book tours. What's going on?
I'm currently creating second editions for each of the books because there's so much more information that has become available or that I have learned since they were published in 2017 and 2018. So I want to freshen them up, give them a new look with more information and put them out there. So they should be out before the end of August.
Mm,
that's peace.
mm.
Yeah, what I have is
That's a good thing.
I have a sampler book coming out. It's a
A
sample of
sampler book.
all. What's that, cuz?
A sampler book.
Yeah, it's a sampler book which have samples of all 8 books poetry from each one, so folks can get an idea of what's in the poetry books, that I published already. From the beginning, from the first one all the way to the 8th one, and also at the same time they can witness my elevation through the lines of my poetry. See where the king was at, where he began, and where he ended up at. I'm still flying though.
Excuse me.
So that'll be out real soon. You know what I mean? So, right now we're just rocking.
So Julia, how's everything opening up down there with the COVID? Is it opening or?
It's a hot mess here. I'm in the Hampton Roads area, which is like 7 cities in Virginia. And so we had a very slow number of cases when the outbreak first began in Virginia. We started seeing cases, I think, mid-March. There was a couple that came back from vacation and they were sick in Virginia Beach. And then every so often we receive like maybe 10 cases, 8 to 10 cases a day for the whole entire area. And we were supposed to have a stay-at-home order in place up until June 10th, but it was removed so people could celebrate Memorial Day. And I think in the last week or so, we're seeing an average of 775 cases a day compared to when it first started. So this area is like a vacation area. Restaurants depend on the economy to move, the beaches, all that stuff. And people are like more focused on money and not protecting themselves when they can. And we're becoming a hot spot. They're becoming a hot spot, but they're still opening. I think we do phase 3 in the next week or 2.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation with the pandemic and knowing how this country survived off of capitalism so much. It's like a catch-22, and then like going August is next week, and then knowing that the summer's gonna be over, and then we're gonna get a rise in cases, and we got some dark. I'm not trying to be funny or profiteer or anything, but according to a lot of their modules, we got some dark days ahead of us. Unless they could come out with a cure, they should be looking for a cure instead of a vaccine. I'm always saying find a cure first. Don't the vaccine. I don't know about all that, but find a cure. Hopefully, they find a cure first.
Yeah.
So, King, I see that our other 2 illustrious guests haven't arrived. I mean, you got any more? I mean, if you got some more, we could continue going. If not, we could close the show. It's up to you.
No, we're gonna close the show next week. Everyone should be on deck. You know what I mean? So it's okay though. I told them if they wasn't able to make it, that was fine. I still appreciate.
So let me tell you, I appreciated you too, man. Both of y'all. I appreciate because, like I told you, our vision. We on the same road right now. The lanes ain't crossing, but the lanes is going in the same direction. And
I feel you.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you're trying to establish and allowing my platform to help your platform, and we get there together. And Julia, it was a pleasant. Like I told you before, you're more than welcome to come on the show. You in the group already. I mean, don't like I was told today that I was told the other day a friend of mine gave me some advice, and he said about the mood of the group. And I wanted to tell him, even though I do listen to what everybody tells me, I don't, as an admin, or if I was a moderator, whatever title it is, we don't control the group. The group controls itself. So whatever you put in there, based upon the interaction and the engagement from everybody else, that's the way the group is going to be vibing that day.
Right.
And your books, Julia, is right. The group and our age group, and this is why I asked you those 2 questions, is that we're all basically at the prime of our lives. and it's like that pivotal time where the next decision can't be a bad decision. We done made those mistakes. Definitely when it comes to relationships, careers. So these type of things, when we talk about those issues in the group, this is why these issues are always pick up a lot of steam
Mm,
sometimes, So definitely share that information in there because
okay.
you never know how it may help someone.
Okay. Will
Definitely.
All
do.
right.
So,
Will do. Thank you.
cuz I
Thank you. It's
always
always a
appreciate, man.
pleasure.
Thank you, Drew, for appearing tonight. Appreciate that. Cuz always thankful, man. Love you, man.
Me too.
Appreciative. We gonna rock it out, man.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
see it.
And that 2021 family reunion in North Carolina too. So I appreciate you guys, and hopefully our next week we'll talk.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
You're welcome. Y'all take care. Have a blessed night.
All
All
right.
right.
Good night.
All right.
Good
Good
night.
night.